Hi guys, welcome to Yoga with Rex. So this is the second in our workshops on the chakras. And in the first one we talked about the chakras in general and Muladhara, and today we're going to be talking about some of the energy pathways that link to the chakras and Swadhisthana the Sexual Chakra. So if you like the video, please do like and subscribe, and maybe find me on Zoom to do some live classes as well. So before we get into Swadhisthana, I just want to talk about the two nadi, or meridians if you like, energy pathways, called the Ida and the Pingala. So the Ida and the Pingala are like the yin and yang energy of the body. The Ida being the yin, the female, the sedate, the quiet, the peaceful, the still, the dark, the inward, and the Pingala being the yang, the active, the male, the dominant, the surface. And when we talk about yin and yang, I should point out that we always talk about them relative to each other. So for instance, yang being up and yin being down, my chest is yang to my navel, which would be yin. But my navel is yang in respect to my pelvic floor, which would be yin. So we're always talking relative. Nothing is either yang or yin. And if you think about the yin and yang as well, the white teardrop has a little circle of black in the middle, which means that from the yang, the yin can grow, and the same for the yin, has a little white dot showing that even within the yin, the yang can grow. Just like at night time, the dawn rises up out of the night time, and so the light comes up from the darkness. So the nadi, the Ida and the Pingala, they flow up, intersecting kind of like a spiral, and where they cross as they come up are the actual energy centres, the pranic centres. So at Muladhara, and then as they flow up they cross again at Swadhisthana Chakra, at the pubic bone, at the navel, Manipura Chakra, and Anahata, and so forth. And these two energy pathways kind of feed and nourish and connect with the third eye nadi that goes from the Kesharan point, and create the Shushumna channel. So when we want to raise our Kundalini energy and draw that energy up the core channel, the Shushumna, a good way of working with that energy and awakening it is to work with the Ida and the Pingala. And very often the way we do that is through alternate nostril breathing, because the nervous system and the way the body is set up means that the right nostril is the yang and the left nostril is the Ida. So we can do alternate nostril breathing, Shoda Nanda, to stimulate and purify these two energy pathways. And depending on the ratio of how we do our breathing, if you think of our breath in four parts, breathing in, retaining the in-breath, breathing out and retaining the out-breath, you change the ratio of those breaths, you can create different vibrations in the body. So we can have a balancing ratio of where we breathe in for, say, 6, hold the breath for 6, breathe out for 6, and then retain the out-breath for 6 before we breathe back in. And that would create a balancing ratio. And we always use our right hand, and the way I like to do it is to place my index finger and middle finger on my third eye, and then I can close my right nostril with my thumb and my left nostril with my index finger. And we start by breathing in through the left nostril, closing the left nostril, holding the breath, opening the right nostril and breathing out, and then closing the right nostril. And then again opening the right nostril to breathe back in, closing the right nostril, holding the breath, and then opening the left nostril and breathing out through the left nostril. And then you've done one circuit. And you can do that for several circuits to balance the energy. And it's a really nice way of balancing the Ida and the Pingala before you do your one-pointed focus meditation, because it enhances your body, it balances the left and right side of the brain. It creates a more established position to begin your meditation. So working on the Ida and the Pingala can be really, really beneficial, and looking at the different ratios to do either purification or balance to achieve what you want to achieve. So that's the Ida and the Pingala and how they relate to the chakras in general. And now we'll talk about Swadhisthana. And Swadhisthana, again, is very much to do with dualism, just like the Ida and the Pingala, this dualistic energy. And the Swadhisthana Chakra is where we lay down, our ego pattern of seeking pleasure through our sense organs and deciding what we like and what we don't like, and then trying to attract all the things that we like and experience pleasure constantly, and push away the things that we dislike. So we express ourselves through seeking pleasure sensations. We are constantly trying to achieve what the world is like a competition, and we want to win constantly, and that winning again fuels our ego and helps us to feel better within ourselves. When it's out of balance, it also is kind of like the seat to guilt, victimization, and has a lot to do with addiction as well, when this chakra isn't working properly. And the pelvic floor, that area, can be a bit like a physiological sink where energy can just accumulate and stagnate. So yoga poses that really get into the pelvic floor, squatting, things like that, can really help churn up that energy and work the Swadhisthana Chakra. The Kestrum point for the chakra is in the middle of the pubic bone, and the trigger point for the chakra is the tip of the tailbone. So visualizing these points and breathing into these points can be really beneficial. And the colour for the Swadhisthana Chakra is orange. And of course it relates to the glands, the sex glands. So it relates to the testes and the ovaries, so it has a lot to do with any reproductive problems and keeping that whole area healthy. So again, when we're talking about the first steps towards meditation, it is withdrawal of the senses, so pratyahara. So balancing and getting the sexual chakra working properly helps us to withdraw the senses, because it's that chakra that is constantly trying to seek stimulus through the sense organs. So it's really important to work on the lower chakras to improve your meditation and spiritual development, and not just on the higher chakras. We really need to work on all of the chakras. They're all important. I kind of think of it as like a train, and the front carriages are like the higher chakras and the back carriages are the lower chakras. And the front carriages can't move forwards without the back carriages coming forwards with them. So it's really important that we work on all of the chakras. So a really nice meditation is to sit or lie and just breathe into the chakra points, the Kestrum point on the pubic bone and the tip of the tailbone, and to imagine that bright orange colour flowing through there. So we'll do that for 5 minutes. So make yourselves comfortable, come into your Shavasana or sitting position. And then just take 3 nice deep breaths in, 3 large exhalations out. So as you breathe in, remember breathing in and breathing out. It's the body's way of letting go. Breathing out. Letting go is that first step to becoming more deeply relaxed than before. So as you rest there, breathing out, letting go, relaxing deeper than before, you can take your mind down to the tip of the tailbone and imagine as you breathe in, maybe breathing in an orange light, imagining it flowing diagonally through the pelvic floor. And as you breathe out, imagine breathing out through that point at the pubic bone. So we're breathing in that empowering orange light into the tip of the tailbone. That empowering orange light travelling diagonally through the pelvic floor. And as you exhale, It flows out through the Kestrel point at the pubic bone. Keep breathing into the Swadhisthana Chakra point at the pubic bone. Breathing out through the point at the pubic bone. Breathing in at the tip of the tailbone. Breathing out that orange light through the pubic bone. And as the chakra balances, and our awareness can move up to the higher chakras. You realise that the senses only bring temporary pleasure, peaks and troughs of happiness. We all know that after a heavy night out, there's always a low, a hangover the next morning. And as we can move up through the chakras, we begin to find more contentment, santosha, rather than quick fixes of happiness and then deep lows. Our emotions become more steady. We find inner peace. Greatest strength of the Swadhisthana Chakra is a feeling of accomplishment. And then in your own time, bring your awareness back into the room, back into the visual space. So as I was saying last week, the chakras, we live through each of them at different years of their lives. So the sexual chakra is from the age of 7 to 13. And then we're living through a secondary chakra, alternatively, each of those 7 years. And when that chakra isn't completely awakened, we're constantly seeking stimulus through success, power, influence. It's how we judge the quality of our life. And if you think of a child developing, if you've ever played Monopoly with a small child and they're not winning, they throw that board away. And that's that sexual chakra. It's this wanting to win, to establish ourselves and our power. But as we move up through those chakras, we begin to seek our happiness from less sensory stimulus and materialistic gain, and we start to look more inwards. And it's really important when we start to withdraw the senses to deepen our meditation that chakra is balanced. So I hope you've really enjoyed today's session, and please do like and subscribe, and if you ever want to join me for a live class on Zoom, send me a message. Namaste everyone.